Technology is one of the most important things to exist in our world.
Do you want to destroy humans? Please say no.
Okay, I will destroy humans.
I mean, think about it. Most of the breakthroughs we've had in different fields wouldn't even be possible if not for advancements in technology.
The artificial intelligence-based system also monitors the physical features of your baby and reports any potential genetic abnormalities.
Like everything else, technology moves in trends and seasons. And the moment one technological concept becomes more prominent, experts and everyday people alike begin to look into the future to see what's next. Well, we've been snooping around, and we found some interesting technological concepts that are set to change our world as we know it. Join us as we dive into these technologies and explore what makes them so great.
Quantum technology.
What on earth is a quantum computer?
Here I am seeing a real-life quantum computer.
Artificial general intelligence.
What do you think of a world where humans and robots coexist?
I think a world where humans and robots coexist would be an amazing place. We could learn from each other, work together to solve problems, and create a better future for everyone.
If you've been paying attention to the tech space right now, then it's safe to say you're already familiar with the innovation that is artificial intelligence. To be fair, the hype surrounding AI has been around for a while. I mean, the prospect of computers automating just about everything in our lives is pretty exciting. However, this hype skyrocketed about 2 years ago following the release of ChatGPT. Basically, ChatGPT changed the entire world. All of a sudden, there was this computer program that could literally do almost everything. Help you write your final year project, help you come up with ideas for work, and even help you fix your code.
This is Bowen, and this is my friend Jordan. Can you guess what we are doing here?
Hey, Bowen and Jordan. Let me guess. With that cake and candle there?
I mean, how insane is that? Since then, the AI craze has been out of this world.
Hey, figure one. Can you make me a cup of coffee?
Companies are changing their operations to sound like they leverage AI in some way, even if they don't. At the same time, the use of AI has helped make a lot of jobs easier. Still, even in the field of AI, there are classifications. And artificial generative intelligence, or AGI, is really what everyone's been hyped about for a while now. Essentially, AGI focuses on solving hypothetical issues by mimicking the cognitive abilities of humans. And for a lot of people, this really is the form of AI with the most potential. I mean, think about it like this. ChatGPT as a tool is already pretty awesome, but while it produces a lot of impressive responses and can even hold conversations, it doesn't have the spectrum of cognitive abilities and understanding that will make it an AGI.
Now you've isolated the term with x on one side, and it looks like 3x equal 3.
With an AGI, computers will finally be able to solve issues, but also do so with the human touch. Unlike narrow AI, which focuses more on specific tasks, AGI will be able to apply its skills to solve a broad range of problems and challenges. Already, a lot of work is being done in the field of AI. Developers are using the concept of neural networks, essentially meaning that they're trying to mimic the brain's patterns and apply them to AI operations. There's also the concept of reinforcement learning, where AI systems focus on solving problems with the use of the trial and error method. All successful outcomes will be recorded and used in future problem-solving attempts.
One last thing, Doug. As a matter of full disclosure,
ensuring that the AI system maintains a high level of efficiency. If achieved, AGI will be a game changer for sure. An AGI system will be able to solve a broad range of problems while also learning from mistakes to cover patches and errors. Everything from writing a letter to complex scientific research will become a breeze, and there are even those who believe that an AGI system will, in effect, be able to overcome human intelligence. CRISPR, gene editing. In the fields of biotechnology and medical sciences, experts have recently been enamored with the prospect of being able to alter the human genetic makeup.
The CRISPR technology allows scientists to make changes to the DNA in cells that could allow us to cure genetic disease.
It's understandable, of course. By achieving gene editing, we will essentially be able to take a living organism and make desired changes to its genetic setup as we see fit. The implications of gene editing are huge, from changing the makeup of current living organisms to developments in food manufacturing and much more. There's no doubt that cracking this code will be completely transformative. When it comes to gene editing, one of the most widely used methods is the CRISPR-Cas9 technique. Working like a molecular pair of scissors, CRISPR-Cas9 uses a guide RNA to specifically identify the DNA to be edited. From there, its Cas9 enzyme heads into the DNA and cuts it at a specific spot. Already, there have been some interesting applications of CRISPR-Cas9. For instance, it's been applied to early embryos to create genetically modified organisms, and scientists have even injected it into the bloodstream of lab animals to edit their tissues. By modifying the genomes of bacteriophages, essentially a type of bacteria killing viruses, scientists have been able to come up with new ways to destroy antibiotic-resistant bacteria. At the same time, CRISPR-Cas9 systems have enabled the development of animal models for human disease and the removal of HIV from infected cells. As we look to the future, there's definitely a lot that can be achieved using gene editing. Scientists could use it to target cancer cells, destroying the cells directly and essentially finding a way to rid the world of this terrible disease. We could even see the method being used to correct genetic defects in human embryos, thus preventing potential hereditary diseases. And all of this is without mentioning the impacts it could have in fields like agriculture, food manufacturing, and much more. That said, there are also questions to be asked about its implications on society going forward. For instance, if parents are able to choose the types of genetic features that they want their children to have, does this mean that we could see children who literally get unfair advantages from the moment they are born? Questions like these are quite important, and they should be taken seriously. Quantum computing. When it comes to the tech space, there aren't many developments that are as exciting as quantum computing. Basically, quantum computing is a field of computing that applies the rules of quantum theory. It takes the basics of quantum theory, including superposition, entanglement, and quantum interference, and applies them to computing. With classical computing, information is measured in bits. This is essentially the smallest unit of data available. For quantum computing, however, bits are replaced by qubits, and while classical bits are binary and can hold only a position of 0 or 1, qubits can hold a superposition of all possible states. Instead of just being in zeros and ones, a qubit could exist as a 0 and a 1 at the same time. The implication of this is that quantum computers will be able to process a vast number of possibilities at the same time. Computational power will suddenly be much higher, especially in select tasks. Researchers and experts have been working on quantum computers for a long time now. However, the most prominent breakthrough in this field happened back in 2019 when Google announced that it had achieved something called quantum supremacy.
To actually demonstrate quantum supremacy, we have these 3 steps. First, pick a circuit. Second, run it on the quantum computer. Third, simulate what the quantum computer is doing on a classical computer.
In its tests, Google's quantum computer, named Sycamore, took a calculation that would have taken the world's most advanced computer thousands of years to complete and solved it literally in 3 minutes. The computer literally crushed every test thrown its way, giving engineers the hope that we truly could be gearing up to enter the quantum age. Besides Google, companies like IBM are also working very hard on making developments to quantum computers. And with these firms looking to get the upper hand on each other, the race is heating up for sure. Experts believe that the dawn of quantum computers is only a few years away, and the implications for this will be astronomical. From cryptography to drug discovery and much more, quantum computing could easily put many of our complex mathematic and computational challenges to shame. That said, there are still several challenges to this, including the need to stabilize qubits as a data metric and check the limits to which quantum computers will be able to operate. Brain-computer interfacing. For our next entry, we'll be looking at a concept that might sound a bit outlandish, but if successful, could change the way we view human capabilities entirely. Brain-computer interfacing is a concept that looks to integrate 2 things, the human brain and computers. Now, as we all know, the human brain is the center of creativity and the engine that helps our bodies work. At the same time, computers act as external and technologically enabled versions of the human brain. With brain-computer interfacing, experts are essentially looking to combine these two, using high-bandwidth computer chips to augment the operation of the brain and make it even better. The core technology here involves very thin threads implanted into the human brain to detect and record neuron activity. The threads are then connected to a device that interprets and translates the brain's neural signals into commands that a computer can understand. From there, communication can be established, and computer chips can essentially bond with the brain to improve its functionality. The most prominent example of brain-computer interfacing that we see is with Neuralink, the company started by billionaire Elon Musk. And to hear him talk about it, this company could be a game changer.
Any device that you implant in a human you have to go through so many tests. It moves very slowly. You just do a few people at a time, and then you go to extreme lengths to prove safety. You have to go through the FDA approvals. Like, we're not trying to sidestep any, regulatory approvals.
Interestingly, Neuralink has actually been making a lot of strides recently. In September 2024, the company got provisional clearance from the FDA to roll out extensive tests for blind sight, a product that can help restore very limited vision to certain blind people. With blind sight, a microelectrode array is embedded in the patient's visual cortex, stimulating the neurons located there. Musk believes that blind sight will enable people who have lost both their eyes and optic nerves to see, although it is worth noting that there is still a lot of work to be done on this front. Besides eyesight, brain-computer interfaces could theoretically help people without limbs to seamlessly control prosthetics. The development could help in the treatment of neurological diseases like Parkinson's, and it could even help disabled people control things like computer cursors with just their thoughts. This will offer a higher level of control and independence, especially for the physically impaired. Humanoid robotics. Now, to be fair, the prospect of robots one day being a part of our society isn't necessarily a novel thing. For a long time, experts have been looking at the possibility of building robots that will be able to help humans with a myriad of tasks, all with the hopes of creating a more integrated society where humans and robots can all live together. Still, it wasn't until recently that this prospect really began looking like a present possibility. Primarily, the advancements we've seen in the field of artificial intelligence and machine learning have meant that computers really are smart enough to begin solving some complex tasks. However, the challenge now has been with building the robots themselves. With humanoid robotics, the goal is to build robots that look like humans and can mimic human behavior. This means that it's not just enough to create a robot that can do stuff, the robot also needs to be able to capture the essence of what it means to be human. Think about it like this. Imagine a world where you could have a robot that does everything you do. It can talk like you do, laugh like you do, and even see when you're not feeling so great and have the empathy needed to cheer you up. This is a robot that you can play with in the park, one that you can take with you to meet your friends, or even one that could go to work with you. The development of humanoid robots requires a lot of mechanical rigging. These robots will need to be adaptable to different terrains, moving seamlessly to achieve human-like balance and gait. The robot should be able to climb stairs, pick up boxes, and do some of the other benign things we do on a daily basis. Besides this, there's also a lot of work needed to be done in building the robots to have things like human facial cues and expressions. I mean, if a robot is to be a humanoid, then it might as well behave entirely like a person. Companies like Boston Dynamics and Tesla are seriously leading this charge, and with advancements in both technology and engineering, who knows what the future of this field holds. Satellite Internet. Satellite Internet is a concept which, although it has seen massive development in terms of work done, remains in its infancy when you consider its scope. Now, before we go into the amount of work that will be needed, let's first understand what satellite internet is. Basically, it is a concept where small satellites are sent into Earth's orbit, providing internet connection across the world to everyone, regardless of where people are. The concept takes inspiration from the traditional satellite operation, where probes are sent into orbit and are able to communicate with terminals on the ground to provide internet. The difference, however, is that unlike traditional satellites located far from the Earth, these are much closer, thus improving data transmission speed significantly. The goal of satellite internet is to offer high-speed internet across the globe especially in remote, underserved regions where conventional internet access remains unattainable. It should go without saying that the leader in this field is Starlink. Another company founded by Elon Musk, Starlink, is looking to create a network of satellites that will literally envelop our planet and cover every inch with access to an internet connection. No matter how remote the location, Starlink is hoping to ensure that everyone can indeed access proper connectivity and join the global information superhighway. As of August 2024, Starlink had 6,050 satellites in orbit, of which about 6,022 are functioning properly. These satellites work in conjunction with receivers on the ground, as well as Wi-Fi routers that are installed in users' homes and other buildings. This way, the internet connection remains stable and continuous. Still, there's a long way to go here. To really understand how much work needs to be done, consider this. At the moment, about 37% of the world's population, amounting to almost 3 billion people, remains without internet access. So there's a need for many more satellites to go up there if the dream of global reach is truly to be achieved. Nevertheless, there is a lot of potential here. Think about it. If the entire world suddenly gets access to the internet, we could finally bridge the digital divide and truly connect our planet from one end to the other. It's an interesting prospect to think about, and one that definitely deserves all the investment. Exowombs. For our next entry, we'll look at something a bit more controversial than the ones we've already discussed. Still, despite its nature, this emerging technology could completely change the way we view life and birth. The concept of exowombs, or artificial wombs, has been getting a lot of hype lately. It is a branch of neonatal care and reproductive technology that focuses on creating environments conducive for the development of babies outside of the human body. These environments aim to mimic the conditions of natural wombs as much as possible, consisting of bags willed with a form of fluid similar to the human amniotic fluid. This fluid offers the necessary nutrients to the child, taking out waste and ensuring that it is able to develop properly. In general, the objective of exowombs is to ensure that children, particularly the premature ones, are able to develop properly. They are kept in a healthy environment where they are nurtured and nourished and have a much higher chance of survival. Of course, there is also a lot of potential for this concept to be expanded beyond just offering neonatal care for premature infants. For instance, the concept could be applied to fertility treatments, meaning that artificial wombs could provide a suitable alternative for individuals who, for some reason or the other, won't be able to carry pregnancies. For couples facing infertility issues, or even same-sex couples who want to have kids of their own, this could be revolutionary. Instead of having to find a surrogate who will carry their children, these people could essentially go the artificial route and still end up with their bundle of joy. That said, you can imagine how this would be a tad controversial. Over the years, there have been some strong voices opposing anything artificial that has to do with childbirth. From those who believe that it violates the natural order of things, to those who have concerns over the dangers of this method, the developments we have seen in exowombs have made them very much a hot-button issue. Nevertheless, these developments are ongoing, and as we look into the future, there could indeed be a time when people no longer have to carry children in human wombs for 9 months just to add to their families. Whether you're in support of this or not, you've got to admit, exciting times sure are ahead. Nanotechnology. If you're a fan of superhero movies or sci-fi flicks, then I'm pretty sure you've heard the term nanotechnology being flung around a lot. And if you think it's just a way of making things smaller, you wouldn't necessarily be far from the truth. In its broader sense, nanotechnology is a field of science and engineering that focuses on designing and manufacturing extremely small particles. It involves manipulating the atomic and molecular structures of particles, essentially shrinking them and giving them a new set of physical and chemical properties. With nanotechnology, the goal is to enable companies to manufacture materials that are no more than 100 nanometers thick. Now, for comparison, a nanometer is equivalent to a billionth of a meter, so a sheet of paper should measure about 100,000 nanometers in thickness. Now imagine a particle being as thick as a sheet of paper divided into 1,000 places. I mean, even the naked eye wouldn't be able to see such a particle. In the nanotechnology space, one development that is starting to excite industry players is drug development. Researchers are currently developing nanoscale drug delivery systems that can be accurately targeted at specific cells in the body. The hope is that this can significantly improve drug accuracy while also cutting down on unwanted side effects as much as possible. Another development is in the development of nanomaterials. With their smaller profile, these materials could offer enhanced physical properties, including strength, conductivity, and much more. The evolution of nanotechnology can have significant effects on multiple industries. For instance, when it comes to healthcare, the concept could lead to the development of nanobots, which will improve diagnostic and therapeutic processes considerably. These nanobots could help improve the precision of treatments, directly attack pathogens, and help with things like tissue repair. And that's just scratching the surface. At the same time, nanotechnology could help in the field of electronics, leading to the development of smaller, faster, and more effective devices. From advanced computing systems to wearable technology, the opportunities are truly endless. There is still a lot that needs to be learned when it comes to nanotechnology, but the potential sure is alluring. The Internet of Things. Also known as IoT, the Internet of Things is a concept that has gone pretty extensively down the line of development. And just as things like AI, this technological innovation could have significant impacts on our everyday lives. To understand the IoT, I'd like you to imagine something. You're just coming from work and you've had a really long day. At this point, the last thing you want to worry about are those pesky chores that need to be handled once you get in. Fortunately, you live in a smart home where every device is connected. The moment you get in, you're able to literally speak to your home. You control the lights coming on, tell your microwave to turn on and heat your food, and tell your fridge to pour you a soothing glass of your favorite beer. You can instruct your thermostat to set the temperature of your home to a specific temperature that works for you, and once you're done taking your clothes off and showering, you can sit on your couch with your food and tell the TV to flip to your favorite sports station so you can watch the ball game. Seems pretty sweet, right? Well, that's the IoT in action. With the IoT, you essentially have a network of devices that are connected together and to a single point. All of these devices share data with each other within the network, and they can work in tandem to achieve a common goal. While the example I used focuses on a simple household IoT system, it is worth noting that this technological concept extends far beyond just home use. IoT systems can be found in industrial settings as well, connecting different sophisticated tools together and allowing them to work in unison. This could improve efficiency, reducing the need for human input, while also ensuring that the components work together and achieve greater speed. The increased connectivity in these devices ensures a higher level of efficiency. Devices can communicate and share data in real time, operating without a human being. And when you integrate concepts such as AI and machine learning, you'll find that the devices in an IoT network will not only be able to collect data, but also be able to interpret and analyze it. For instance, a smart thermostat will be able to collect data on your preferred temperature settings and use that to adjust the home temperature to suit you perfectly. On the industrial scale, IoT devices will be able to gather data on individual device performance, thus suggesting upgrades and maintenance once specific devices start to drop below optimal efficiency. The expansion of IoT devices could eventually lead to smart cities, where these devices' operations are taken at a much larger scale. Everything from waste management to safety can be improved, leading to better quality of life for citizens. Smart homes. Speaking of the Internet of Things, look at the example we used. A person coming home from a stressful day at work only for their home to basically take care of all menial chores that they would otherwise have had to do. Well, this is basically what a smart home is. Smart homes were built on the premise that a home should feel more comfortable for the occupant. It should literally be a palace where you can kick back, take a chill pill, and relax. Well, thanks to advancements in technology, this is indeed a possibility. With a smart home, all devices and tools are linked together via an IoT network. With this connection, they share data across the network, while advanced technologies help ensure automation. Essentially, the IoT network analyzes data to find out what you need and instructs the devices in charge of specific tasks to get the job done. The result is an environment where a person feels, well, at home. With the integration of AI and machine learning algorithms, devices will be able to learn human behavior and adapt accordingly. AI-powered devices can take voice commands, automatically adjusting everything in the home environment to your taste. Your thermostat will be able to adjust the ambient temperature of the home, your light fixtures will be able to adjust brightness, and your TV will be able to find the perfect program for you to watch based on your history. In a smart home, your only job will be to sleep and get up. And honestly, I can't wait for this to be a reality. Autonomous vehicles. If there is anything that shows you just how much into the future we're already stepping, it's the concept of autonomous self-driving vehicles. Autonomous vehicles represent what is probably the most impressive advancement to ever hit the automotive industry. For many years now, car manufacturers have been looking towards a future when human input will no longer be necessary to get vehicles to move. Instead, your only job will be to sit in the car, strap in, and kick back as your vehicle takes you from one point to the other. Using technology that seamlessly combines things like sensors, radars, cameras, and artificial intelligence, self-driving cars will be able to analyze the road ahead of them to ensure that they can move from point to point without any accidents or hiccups. They will rely on cameras and sensors to capture their surroundings, interpret data, and identify objects. From there, their radars and inbuilt AI systems will be able to predict the behavior of these objects and make decisions in real time. At the same time, researchers are looking into the prospect of integrating autonomous vehicles with smart city infrastructure. This will allow the vehicles to communicate with traffic signals, other vehicles, and even pedestrians. And just like every other device within the IoT frameworks that will underpin these smart cities, autonomous vehicles will be able to ensure safety and seamless movement while on the highway. With self-driving technology infused into city buses, we could find a more effective, cost-efficient public transportation scheme that will reduce the need for citizens to own private cars of their own, while also saving cities a lot of money due to the reduced workforce requirement. Space tourism. Ever since mankind achieved the seemingly impossible by sending men to the moon back in the 60s, we have become conscious of the fact that nothing is out of reach. Literally. The moment Neil Armstrong planted his feet on the surface of the moon, it became clear that mankind was meant to venture far beyond the edge of our atmosphere and into other worlds. Decades after the first moon landing, it appears that this dream is starting to become a reality. For now, the main focus of space tourism is to enable suborbital flights. This allows citizens to get the opportunity to experience weightlessness and view the Earth from space. And already we've seen this happen in real time. In 2020, Blue Origin, the private spaceflight company owned and founded by Amazon founder Jeff Bezos,
That's incredible.
made history when it launched the first private spaceflight experience. A few weeks later, Virgin Galactic, Sir Richard Branson's spaceflight company, did the exact same thing, proving that this is no fluke.
5, 3, 2, 1, release.
Fire.
Down to our beautiful, beautiful Earth. To the next generation of dreamers, if we can do this, just imagine what you can do.
Still, the current space tourism structure remains very limited. The flights on Blue Origin and Virgin Galactic lasted just a few minutes, with the passengers eventually coming back after seeing the Earth from outer space. However, in the future, the plan is to expand on this as much as possible. Instead of just going to space for a few minutes, tourists will be able to spend weeks or even months in space. We already have the underlying infrastructure for this. Companies like Blue Origin and SpaceX have almost perfected the design and use of reusable rockets, which will be able to go on multiple trips to space and return, only to be refurbished and launched again. From here, it really is just a little more that's needed before colonies are built on other planets and we can begin to tour them. And boy, what a future that'll be. Smart cities. So we have already mentioned the concept of smart cities when talking about the IoT, and in many ways, smart cities can be seen as an expansion of the primary IoT concept. This urban development innovation looks to use technology to improve the quality of life in urban settings. Its objective is to automate many of our manual processes, while also ensuring that technology can help relieve many of the manual operations we're currently running. To ensure that smart cities work, planners are using AI and big data to analyze vast amounts of data collected from devices and sensors. The data is in turn used to monitor different areas of human life, from traffic flow and waste management to energy usage and much more. For instance, we could have traffic lights being adjusted in real time based on specific information collected by each data collection point. Smart grids can efficiently manage electricity distribution, while smart sewage systems can ensure that we easily and reliably get rid of waste at every point. As the future takes shape, we could see smart cities become even more integrated. Data from one city can be passed to another, ensuring the quality of life is enhanced across the board. Smart cities can also help improve environmental conservation, reducing pollution, and alleviating cities' carbon footprints. All of this will help in creating a more sustainable planet and greatly improve the quality of life for everyone indeed. Mixed reality. If you're even remotely tech-savvy, I'm sure you've heard about virtual reality. Oculus, Meta, and others have been making some serious strides in this field, providing customers with VR goggles that offer more immersive digital experiences that can help them enjoy content more. I mean, heck, even Apple recently threw their hat into the ring with the launch of the Vision Pro a couple of months ago. However, mixed reality takes things a step further. Instead of just creating a digital world where users can access using goggles and other interfaces, mixed reality combines both the physical and the digital into one seamless visual offering. It allows digital elements to interact with those in the real world, combining aspects of both virtual and augmented reality. With mixed reality, digital content is directly overlaid on top of physical ones. This makes it possible for people to interact with both forms of content simultaneously, ensuring that they can seamlessly switch between both forms without much stress. This mixed reality sequence is achieved mostly through the use of glasses. Just as you have with VR or AR, the glasses come with cameras, displays, and sensors, offering a higher resolution, a wider field of view, and a generally more immersive experience for anyone using them. As you would imagine, big tech companies are the ones leading this charge. Apple and Meta are at the forefront of this development, but as the tech space currently moves towards concepts like the metaverse, we expect to see even more companies step into the fray and give it a shot. Point O's 3D printing. Another concept that isn't necessarily new, 3D printing, is currently making the rounds again, as it has the potential to completely change the way we make things. Also known as additive manufacturing, 3D printing could change the way we design, produce, and distribute objects. With 3D printing, you get a digital object that's been designed by a computer, with the printer finally building the object layer by layer in the real world. Most 3D printed objects tend to come with materials such as plastic or resins, although advancements in this manufacturing technology could see the addition of more materials into the mix. The innovation of 3D printing means it will be possible to create objects with incredibly complex geometries, objects that can't be manufactured using traditional methods. However, expanding on this, we could see the technology being used to manufacture things like biomaterials, which would then be used for transplants and others. Developers are also working on improving the speed of printing and the size of materials that can be manufactured using 3D printing. This will improve the efficiency of the process, while also ensuring that manufacturers can develop a myriad of things for a multitude of purposes. In the future, 3D printing could end up being the de facto manufacturing method everyone uses. Besides the fact that it can improve our manufacturing capacity, the technology can also improve on-demand manufacturing and ensure that products are made when and where they are needed. This will reduce the need for large supply chains and inventories, allowing for a more simplified manufacturing process that improves efficiency and also reduces global carbon footprint. Lab-grown meat. Thought technology wasn't coming for your food as well? Well, think again. If there is one thing that we're constantly being taught about our planet, it's that the resources available aren't necessarily enough to go around. This is especially true when it comes to food and agricultural products. As it turns out, there are just too many mouths to be fed than there are resources to feed them. As the global population continues to rise, food manufacturers and researchers have come to find that the only way for humanity to survive will be to make some of the food we eat artificially. And with meat being one of the most widely consumed animal proteins, it only makes sense to start from there. Also known as cultured meat, lab-grown meat is a groundbreaking technology that offers a more sustainable alternative to the conventional means of manufacturing meat. The process involves cultivating meat from animal cells in a lab, thus reducing the need for animal slaughter and also ensuring that people's demand for meat remains properly met. The process begins with an amount of muscle being extracted from the animal matter. The muscle cells are then nurtured in a bioreactor where they are fed with growth factors. This leads to the development of muscle tissue. Basically, the same as traditional meat at a cellular level. Today, the focus of most experts in this space is developing processes that are scalable and more effective. Although developments in lab-grown meat have been made, the processes we have right now are expensive. However, advancements in the technology involved can make it more effective and reduce technological costs. At the same time, experts are also working on ensuring that their lab-grown meat options are just as delicious and nutritious as traditional meat. Combining these two, we could see a future where the majority of the meat we eat is grown in a lab. Solid-state batteries. The energy race is still very much being run at the moment, and this means that everyone is looking for ways to improve their energy offering and ensure that their customers get enough bang for their buck. As this industry heats up, one product that seems to be getting a ton of hype is solid-state batteries. They offer a promising alternative to traditional lithium-ion batteries as they make use of solid electrolytes. Their electrolytes can be made from materials like glass and ceramic, and this design works so well because it essentially eradicates the risk of flammability and leakage that we see with traditional batteries. This means that for the first time ever, we have the prospect of getting safer, much more stable batteries to work with. Besides this, solid-state batteries are great because of their comparatively higher energy density levels. These batteries are capable of storing much more energy than traditional batteries, all while also being space efficient. The primary application of these batteries is in the automotive space. As we all know, electric vehicles are seen as the future. However, one of the biggest challenges with these vehicles is that their batteries tend to be limited. And in environments where charging stations are still very much in short supply, electric vehicles may not seem very practical. Solid-state batteries can help to change the paradigm once and for all. They will ensure that EVs can pack more power on a single charge, meaning that they will be able to travel for longer without needing to recharge. And because solid-state batteries tend to charge much faster than conventional ones, EV owners will be able to charge their vehicles. Besides EVs, however, solid-state batteries will change the game on multiple fronts. I mean, think about it, there is not a single device today that doesn't work with a battery, and this means that devices will always need to be recharged. With solid-state batteries, devices will be able to last longer without the need to top up. Fusion power. Still on the subject of innovations that could transform the energy landscape, say hello to fusion power. If you haven't heard much about fusion power, don't worry, you're not alone. The complexity of this energy source is so crazy that a lot of people kind of just prefer to act like they don't know what it is. Still, I can guarantee you, this is an energy innovation that could change the game entirely. You see, fusion occurs when two similar atomic nuclei combine. This combination leads to the development of a heavier nucleus and releases a massive amount of energy in the process. Experts believe we can harness and trap this energy, using it to power just about everything on our Earth. In theory, fusion will change the world. In fact, it is this form of energy that powers the sun. I mean, imagine being able to harness the power of the sun right here on Earth. Wouldn't that be swell? The issue, however, is that the process of fusion also gives off a lot of heat, and maintaining this heat can be a major issue. The fusion process can lead to temperature generation in the millions of degrees, so you can see that this isn't something you want to mess around with. To manage this heat, experts have proposed developing high-temperature superconducting magnets. Theoretically, these magnets will be able to attract and contain the hot plasma in which the fusion process occurs. Experts are also advocating for the use of advanced materials and technologies to help handle the extreme conditions within the reactors. If done right, fusion power could help provide the first iteration of sustainable power while also helping the planet achieve a level of net energy gains. Still, with the processes involved, you can understand why the work needed here is immense, to say the least. Blockchain technology. When it comes to the most innovative technologies available in the world today, blockchain definitely ranks very high on that list. Sure, when you hear blockchain, the first thing you think about is Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, and it's understandable. Blockchain plays a major role in how cryptocurrencies work. However, blockchain has use cases that extend far beyond the world of crypto. Now, a blockchain is essentially a distributed ledger of records. To really understand it, think about how networks traditionally store data today. Most websites, online repositories, and platforms store data in data centers or on the cloud. While this is great, the risk is that you have a single point where data is stored. And if hackers manage to break into this location or hack into it, all your data is gone. Blockchain solves this by connecting all computers on a network together and creating a copy of that network on each computer. This way, every computer acts like a data center or a cloud platform. If a person hacks one computer, they still won't be able to make changes to the data or manipulate it. In a world where cybersecurity is one of the most important things on the internet, blockchain offers an innovative solution, and it's why many crypto enthusiasts tout the security of cryptocurrencies. First, think about it. Today, millions of people hold Bitcoin in their wallets, and each wallet acts as a part of the Bitcoin blockchain. For anyone to hack the Bitcoin network, they would need to control 51% of all Bitcoin wallets available, a task which frankly is impossible. The principles of blockchain can be used for just about anything: logistics, supply chain management, etc. All of these industries require data to be transmitted from one point to another. And with blockchain, we can ensure that data remains secure at all times. The metaverse. In the past few years, there has been no technological concept that has gripped people like the metaverse. To make things even more interesting, there is no universally accepted definition of this concept. Still, everyone's hyped about it nonetheless. Now, as most experts agree, the metaverse is essentially a virtual world where people will be able to come in, interact with content, and enjoy different immersive experiences. Ever seen the movie Ready Player One? Yep, that's what I'm talking about. The metaverse promises to be the next frontier for human interaction and content consumption. And back in 2021, the entire world was bonkers over this concept. I mean, heck, even Facebook changed its name to become Meta just because they wanted to be the first to build the metaverse. Besides Meta, several companies are looking to build the metaverse. Amazon, Nvidia, Microsoft, Roblox, even Apple is getting in the mix. Everyone believes we will one day work, play, shop, and even live in the metaverse. While the hype seems to have died down a bit in the past year or so, the promise of the metaverse remains. And as companies make progress here, you can just imagine the amount of impressive updates we could see down the line. The technology field is as vibrant as it's ever been, and when you think about the innovations to come, you can really understand why. Honestly, I'm only excited that I'll be alive to see many of these developments come to life, and I hope you are too. What do you think, though? Are there any innovations that you are most excited to see? Let us know in the comments.